Alright, hello and welcome back to Let's Play Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. I'm still your host, Tricondon, and before I started recording, I should have fast-traveled to Baker Street and gotten Toby. Ay. Yeah, to peel back the curtain, I'm obviously doing this right after ending the recording of the last one, so I have things to deduct. White studies, nope. White and no, okay, no. Yeah, that was useful. I got one. Margaret White's studies and social situation were completely dependent upon Montague Dunn's wealth. That sounds pretty likely right now. The recent disagreement... Yeah, I found evidence tying that together. But, from the sounds of it, White doesn't know about that. Brave, Toby.
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
Yes, but first, there's something I need to look up. That would be in the newspapers. 89, Naval Defense Act. Scandal. The Divine Syndicate Club, followers of the God King Trail, situated on 48 Grosvenor Street, Carlton Road, protectors of plants and more particularly trees, are currently the subject of an administrative investigation. The leaders of this organization are suspected of financial malfeasance. It may be that this investigation will lead to charges of judiciary. Meanwhile, many voices have risen high against this inspection, denouncing the state. In fact, this private organization, which is given its goal the defense and protection of nature, and which incorporates many persons of influence, including political representations of the opposition party, blah 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 blah.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Not yet. Let's finish up exploring the gardens.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Go, Toby! I believe in you.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes. A tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Do I gotta run an experiment? Yes, I do. Okay, good job, Toby. First, let me talk to this guy, because there's some dialogue options.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Your father?
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Yeah, you really...
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
You really have a hate on Mr. Dunn. I'm expecting to find anything in the nursery, but you never know.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery. A thesis written by Martin Hamish.
Modern Botany, Birkbeck Literary and Scientific Institution.
A glasses case. It is empty. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office.
He has to ask Albert to let him in.
This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Okay, that seems to be everything in here, question mark. Hello, what is this?
It is a bust of Montague Dunn. I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
Cool. What does that mean?
The seeds of plant species are stored here.
Okay, I guess the seed house is the only place I haven't been.
Open.
Hello, Miss White. I'm gonna ignore you while I search everywhere.
Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
Oh, what was that? Ooh. Wait, open the window above Albert's desk.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
All right, Margaret, let's have a chat.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Expensive perfume, I can see that first one. Yep. Poor family, I guess. Ah. Hello, what I'm looking for? Oops. Unmarried, of course.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
You're not worried about extremely rare and valuable plants going missing? You're a botanist.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honour.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
That's not the story either of the other two gave.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Duh. Oops, not that one. Okay, so talk to them again.
Poor Mr.
Nope,
Montague.
not you. Let's go find... I can't remember his name. Because it's got one guy's Albert and the other one is... him. Myrtle? Martin. Okay.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room, in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Yeah, Hamish is looking pretty suspicious.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Okay, so... I still need to talk... I've talked to everyone here, so... First, I'm going to go to Baker Street to do the analysis, and then we'll head to the Divine Syndicate. We got a few... Yep. Okay, what's this one? Hamish had a motive. His lives been ruined by Dunn. Yeah, that makes sense. Albert's motive. Really? I don't know, it's hard for me at this early point to believe Albert killed his father.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. A colorless, water-based liquid.
Inhale. Sure.
Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens.
You're hardly a model scientist, Holmes.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette.
Yeah, same pipette I already used, so it's contaminated.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
I followed like half of that, maybe not even. Alright, on to the Divine Syndicate.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Of everything I expected to see in 1800 London, it's not a Japanese scarf. This is trippy, I like that. That is so cool. How do you make that?
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew Gardens symbol. A fragment of a flower pot. Locked. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock...
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself I shall. I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said.
He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Boy, this guy's a Fruit Loop.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Trewon. Yeah, it even says the God King.
Our God King's name is Trewon, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Where's that sap? I want to try some. Eat the sap, Holmes. Eat the sap.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of.
Eat it.
It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
Eat more. Wait. What is this? What am I missing? Deadly plant stolen? Nope. Okay, what is this? Sect stole everything. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't even know what the deadly plant is, so I can't make a decision there.
Osmosis and photosynthesis.
This must be Trewon, the Divine Syndicate's god. This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
Easy. It'll be done quick. Be done quick if I remember the buttons. There we go.
These instruments are used for smoking opium. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
See, now it looks like they're the ones who poisoned the guy.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. A vast amount of opium.
Okay, it looks like that's everything to explore in here. Yeah, don't mind me, buddy. You can ignore me. The vial plume.
Caterpillars, They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
You just gonna shove them in your jacket?
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. A tropical. A tropical plant. These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
Okay. Just gonna shove those in my back pocket. Okay, and there's nothing not telling me where to go, so I guess I need to... No? Okay. Okay, I got 3 clues. I can't point to anywhere. What's it? Set up the alkaloid. Okay, gotta go back to Baker Street. Right now, this is looking... how it is... Okay, there's no way it's that easy then, so... There's no way it's that easy.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
Back to Baker Street.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
Cool.
A carnivorous plant.
A carnivorous plant?
A prickly plant.
Prickly plant.
This is a strange and unusual plant.
Florum diabolica, Dionea carnivorous, Carlina this one seems most likely, because it is a floral thing. What am I doing? Why am I...
No reaction. It appears to have fallen in... My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. My... It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed.
Okay, that's what happened.
I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating.
Oh! I wasn't expecting that.
How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur
so I need
if
to
the prickly plant should shoot at it.
swap them. Yes. But the question is... Oh, wait. Oh, no.
It appeared.
Prickly one in the center. Put a caterpillar on you.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Sect is not involved. Sect schemes. What happens if I do this? But nothing else is connecting. So. Okay, nothing is connecting. Okay, so... talk to all suspects. Do I have to go back to the Divine Syndicate? He is a suspect, so... yeah, there was nothing at the Syndicate. So, talk to you, buddy. Right now, my thoughts are pointing to Hamish.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa... something, or Lear Pontus, or... no, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert to Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Uh-huh. Oh! Well, hold on, I want to listen to that roll first. Am I going the wrong way? I think I'm going the wrong way. Oh no, that was the right way. Okay.
Here it is. Cylinder Records.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Okie dokie. I don't think the spores is where it started, inhaling the spores. Because you have to agitate them. Which you do by... doing something with the hot water heater?
First of all, I need to visit the Colonial Collection.
So inhaling the spores is first. I guess it was just those two.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system. The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
Before starting the power is on. The engine has started. The power is on. The ventilation system is working.
Okay, now what? I walked right by Hamish's spot.
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system. Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Okay. He could be the killer. He's not good at botany, though. Let me just see what happens when I... Ooh. Yeah, White add knowledge.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Well, hold on. I don't have all the clues. Do I? Okay, let's go to Scotland Yard.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
I don't feel like this is right. This doesn't feel right.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, for I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so here and now. Farewell. Really?
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
What?
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Okay.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
This is going to be annoying.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door, more than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Okay. Just get that. Albert is not involved. Albert had time. They both have time. I'll say that right now. But they can't both be. So let's just say White is not involved, just for right now. Okay, so... Okay, so Albert is just not able to do it by himself. What about... Interesting. But, okay, so this is saying that White killed him is because he wouldn't pay her, but it sounds like she didn't know, and there is that big long cylinder which says she was recording for a long time. So, I think White is not an accomplice. The accomplice is Albert. Now, the question is, do I condemn Albert or do I absolve him? And it has to be Albert because he's well, no, not necessarily, because White has a spare set of keys. She told us as much. See, Dunn was planning to release Miss White, but she didn't know. So there's no way she's involved. I could take the easy way and just say it's the Syndicate's fault. Oh, I can't even choose that collection because of Hamish's opportunity. Oh man, I just... See, the thing that's stopping me is cold-blooded murderer. Because Albert seemed very distraught. See, what I'm wondering is... maybe Albert didn't even know what he was doing. If this was Hamish's full idea, then Albert is an unwitting aider. Because he did say Albert was rather overzealous in with his control over the keys and keeping everything locked up. So, if I'm believing that... Wait, can I look at that timeline again? Alright. I want to say... I think I'm going to absolve Albert, because I believe he may have been unaware of his help.
It was Albert who assisted Martin Hamish with the murder of his father, Montague Dunn, an act of desperation to end years of misery and humiliation.
Poor boy. You're right, Holmes. He was also a victim. He'll live the rest of his life with the death of his father on his conscience.
And that is enough. The case is closed, Watson. We can say officially that Martin Hamish acted alone.
Okay, yeah. I'll accept that. We'll see how right I am. People are gonna absorb. I didn't even see. I did not even get to look. That will be it for now. So, tune in next time for a half-moon walk.